Have you ever wanted to turn your Make.com scenarios or your N8N workflows into functional applications that your users can use? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that. Listen, we've all been there, right? We've made these fantastic automations either in Make.com or in N8N, and these things are humming, right? Everything works for them. They do exactly what we want them to do. But there's a disconnect, right? How do we get these automations and these workflows into our customers and clients' hands in a way that they can understand without having to teach them how to use Make.com or how to use N8N? What if there was a way that we could take these automations and these workflows and turn them into actual functioning UIs that are just made specifically for our clients' needs? Well, there is a way, and I'm going to show you how I do it with this simple tool called Parse. So I want to start with showing you an automation that I built out in Make.com. It's super simple. It's called an ebook outline maker. And so what it does is it uses Airtable, and you can drop an article that you source from the internet. You can drop it in Airtable, and then I use Perplexity to summarize that article. It gives me a good summary of that article, and then I use Perplexity again to generate an outline. And then the last thing I do with Perplexity is I make that outline nice and clean and friendly for the users to use, and then they can take that outline and start building out the pieces of that outline into a full-fledged ebook. And so when you run this, it just goes through that process and eventually spits out a complete outline in my Google Doc. And so this is just a simple scenario that you probably created something similar, probably created something even more advanced. But this is just how I want to show you how this tool Parse can turn these types of automations, these types of workflows into user interfaces that your customers and your clients can easily use. You can easily charge a subscription fee or a per use fee to them, and it just saves you a whole bunch of time on the back end or on the front end when you want to go and make a user interface that your clients can use. So now if we jump back over here to Parse, you will see it's super simple to use. It says free your automations from Make.com and N8N. You can transform workflows and blueprints into self-contained executable micro applications that you own completely. All you have to do is come over here to this area right here where it says generate your micro app, upload your workflow. It will do some configuring and it will show you the output. And so you can see you can have choices of, is it a Make.com workflow or is it a N8N workflow or scenario? You can copy paste. If you have that blueprint saved out, you can just drag and drop it right here, or you can paste the actual JSON from that particular blueprint. And so that's what we're going to do for this example. So I'm going to come back over here to Make.com. I'm going to come over here and click on copy blueprint to clipboard. So there it is. I'll copy the scenario and then jump back over here to parse and then just paste it in there. And so you'll see that this is the JSON for that automation that I created over there in Make.com. And that's it. All you have to do is drop it in and just click continue to configuration. Once you click that, you'll see that you have a project name, ebook outline maker. I'm going to keep that the same. Your output language can be Node.js or Python. You have some deployment targets. You can standalone, Docker, or serverless. I usually leave this as the default at standalone. You include some Docker files, or you can include some generic basic test files, which I won't do any test files. We'll just see what happens once this thing is built out. It also detected some of the integrations that we had over there in Make.com. It says these services were detected in your blueprint. you'll need to configure the API keys once it's said and done. So it has Google. There are three environmental variables for Google APIs, and there are two environmental variables for the Airtable, and that's what it pulled from the scenario here. And so those are the that's the flow again, and this is what it pulled out for us. And so the next thing you do is just hit the next button, which is preview and generate, and then instantly you're going to have a scenario or a summary of what it's about to do. So here's your generation summary. There are 6 modules. Let's make sure we got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 modules. We told it the Node.js language. It's standalone, and there are 8 files there. So now it's ready to generate the source code for the micro app. And just like that, it's said and it's done. And it lays out all of the file structure. And from here, you can download this. You can do whatever you want with it. You can download it. You can put it in any type of um, vibe coding app, or if you're technically advanced, you can do whatever you want to do with this downloaded file. But the main thing I want to show you here is that this is the AI prompt that it's going to use, or that you're going to use when you go over to your vibe coding apps like Lovable or Rourke or uh, Cursor or any of those, Bolt.new, anything that you use to do your vibe coding. You can take this prompt and drop it over there. And so we're going to just kind of quickly go through this prompt and see what's in here. This says micro app code from make.com blueprint. I have a micro app generated from a make.com automation scenario. Please help me turn this into a fully functional application. And so it gives you all of the details. Here's the project name. There's the language, all of that stuff, core functionality. It says that this micro app converts make.com automation workflows into a standalone code. The primary purpose is to provide a self-hosted, customizable alternative to the original low-code automation while maintaining the same logic flow. And that's important. You want to keep that same logic flow because you did spend all that time building out these automations, and you don't want it to come over and get converted into something else. It talks about the target audience. These are the developers who want to get this done. This talks about the workflow modules. It talks about, that's right here, there's a perplexity. So it starts off with Airtable. There are my 3 perplexity modules. Then it goes back into Airtable and then finally into Google Docs. And so it aligns perfectly with what we did over here. There's Airtable, there are 3 perplexity modules, 1 more Airtable, and then Google Docs. So you can see that nothing is changing from that blueprint. It's just turning it into an AI prompt. So it can basically be AI talking to AI. And so next up, we have, these are the environment variables that it mentioned earlier. There's the 3 that it mentioned for Google and 2 that it mentioned about Airtable. And it says never commit secrets to version controls. Please use environment variables or secret manager. So more information for the AI to use. And then it gets into the actual coding of it and what that JSON code looks like and how the AI will use this information to build out the automation for you. And so I just want to scroll down all the way down to the bottom of this where it kind of goes into more text talk. It says feel free to ask clarifying questions. You can keep the tone clear and actionable, professional but friendly. Let's say this workflow integrates with Google APIs, Airtables. Please ensure proper authentication and error handling. So it gives it a whole lot, way more than what I would do if I were just to put this prompt into a vibe coding app. I wouldn't get into the details of all of that, and I definitely wouldn't put any JSON structure to it because I'm not a coder. I've been learning, you know, basic stuff as I've been playing around with vibe coding, but definitely would not consider myself a coder. So anyway, there we have it. And this is the 3rd button that you push. So far we had the generate button, we had the review the summary button, and now this is the copy this code for the AI. And that's it. That's all you have to do. From here, you just come over into your favorite vibe coding application that you use. I use Lovable a lot, so I'm going to just drop this right over here. in Lovable. Just do a simple Control V or Command V, whatever you're using, and everything is right here. And so now we just come here and we just hit the button. Just go ahead and let's produce this and see what we get. And so if you ever built these applications in any of these vibe coding apps, you know it can take a little bit of time for it to go through and generate. So I'm going to pause this video here for a second, and then I'm going to bring us back once this thing is built. However, before I do, I just want to show you what's going on right now as I've been talking. Here is the prompt that we put in, micro app code from make.com blueprint. It talks about all of the core details. If I click on show more, everything that we talked about, and it's just written in such a easy readable format. So if you yourself wanted to go back and look and see what was happening, you don't have to fish through code lines of code or some jumbled up text context. Everything is written out nice and clean format for you right here to take a look at. So that's what's happening now. We'll get all the way down to the bottom. And so Lovable is saying, hey, I'll create a beautiful ebook outline maker application with a modern professional design. This workflow tool will have clean interfaces for triggering the automation and visualizing the process. That's one of my favorite parts, visualizing the process. And I'll show you what that looks like once Lovable has given us something to take a look at. And while I'm on pause, I won't make any more changes. I won't add any more prompts. I just want to show you what it looks like from your workflow creator like N8N or make.com right through parse where it goes and it generates the prompt, and right here into your vibe coding app like Lovable, just to show you what it does without any extra work. And so when we come back, we'll see what it's produced and we'll see how much work we still have left to do. Okay, so here we are. We're back into Lovable. And as you can see, I just want to go all the way down and show you all the things that Lovable has done. It says your ebook outline maker is ready. It features a dark, sophisticated design with warm amber accents, animated workflow visualization, and a clean interface for triggering the automation. This app currently simulates a 6-step workflow to fully make it functional with real integrations, such as Airtable, Perplexity, and Google Docs. You'll need to connect Lovable Cloud for backend functionality. So that's it. We're ready to go. And let's take a look at this thing. Here it is, your ebook ebook outline maker. It says transform articles into ebook outlines. Now, if you've ever used Lovable or anything like that, you'll know that you're going to get a basic design. You can always come back and add some prompts in there and really spruce this thing up. But this video is about taking a make.com automation or N8N workflow and turning that into a user interface that will be accepted by your clients and your customers. And so here it is. We talk about the processing time, workflow steps, time saved, two or more hours, and that's very true. If you ever had to write an ebook, it's way more than 2 hours. Try 2 or more months, or 6 months at least, to get a good ebook out. And then it has output into a Google Docs. So it says start your workflow. You can add an article, generate the outline, and do the steps. So let's go in here and let's go ahead and connect Lovable Cloud. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to let that enable. And while that's going on, I'm going to be looking for a good article to grab. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to grab the one that I already had in this table. This talks about vibe coding, as a matter of fact. So let me just copy that URL. Let's come back over here to Lovable. Okay, everything looks like it's set up there. The authentication is made, the database is there, edge functions, so on and so forth. So now it says next, you can implement the real Perplexity AI integration for your ebook outline. Would you like me to connect Perplexity connector and build the edge functions? Yes, I would. So let's go and implement that. And that's another thing I love about Lovable. It gives you some predefined prompts there that you can use that'll help you get to the next steps when you're building out these things. So now it's asking me for my Perplexity at that API key. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I added my Perplexity API key. And now it's configuring the edge function so it can be used with the front end. And we're going to wait and see what it asks me to do next. Okay, so all of the edge function update has been built, and it says done. The Perplexity integration is now live. Your app will analyze articles. It will generate structured outlines. It will format with markdowns for easy editing, and it will show source citations from AI research. Now it says enter the URL and click generate the outline. So let's give it a try. So here we are. Let me show you. This is the article that we're going to use. It's talking about how to get started with no code automation. I thought that was kind of fitting to use for this example. And the URL is up top, which I've already copied. And so I'm just going to come back over here into the application. I'm going to paste that article and let's see what happens. It's generating, and as you can see, it's going through the steps. It searched the article. It's analyzing the article right now. And this right here is what your users, your clients are really going to love because they can see the process. They can see this workflow pipeline, and they can see exactly what's happening with the articles that they are submitting. And so instead of everything happening on the back end with the scenarios and then you sending your clients the article or you posting it to social media for them, they can kind of take that and put that back into their own hands where they will have more ownership in that process and feel that whatever you're charging them for this service, they'll really feel that they're getting their money's worth because they can see this thing in action. And so right now it's just going through and it's just analyzing the article. Perplexity is reading everything and it's coming up with a summary because that was the first part in the make.com scenario. And let's go back and take a look at that while this is happening. And you can see here in this first thing, I asked Perplexity just a simple command. I said, listen, I just want you to analyze this article and summarize it to extract the most important information. The information you extract will be used to create an ebook on the subject matter. That's all I asked it to do. Nothing too crazy. And so, wow, okay, so we're back and it's analyzed the article, it's generated the outline, and it's done all of that content. And what you have here below is the article outline. It's generated and you can copy it. You can do everything that you want with it. But now this is the part that from this point you can really start building this thing out with what you want to add to it, bells and whistles. But you can see it even has appendices for the research that it used. Here are all of the source articles that it used. So it's really amazing. So now your users, they have a template for them to go and start building their own ebook. And if you really wanted to jazz this thing up, you can continue building this out here in Lovable and just make it actually create the ebook from start to finish. But the whole point of this is just to show you how simple it is to use a scenario that you have in make.com or N8N and turn that into a user interface that you don't have to go and code all of the lines. You don't have to build it from scratch. You just drop it into your vibe coding application and let it do its magic. And so that's it, guys. That's the simple way to use Parse to turn your automations into user interfaces. And you can see it was just simple buttons, 3 easy buttons. You just drop your code in, you review it, and then you copy the AI prompt and drop it into any other vibe coding app that you use. And so let's quickly go over the pricing schedule here, just so you'll know. I don't like people to be surprised. You can sign up and start with a 14-day free trial, no credit card required. You can come in and just use this thing and see if you like it. If you do, it's only $24 a month, $25 a month, and you get up to 100 workflow modules per month. And so these workflow modules, this comes from the scenario where it says right here, 6 of these. So that I just created only used 6 modules. So you can just imagine how many scenarios that you can bring in and use for that month. And so $24, $24.99 per month, no subscription. Use it as you need it. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope we get a chance to go out and take a look. The link is called parsemycode.app. You can go to parsemycode.app and you'll have everything that you need. Here are all of the features, multi-language, instant parsing. You can read that on your own. More documentation on how to get started, the models that it supports, and the formats that it outputs. Again, there's your pricing, and everything starts with a free 14-day trial. And for the year, it's $249 for the year. I highly suggest you probably just do the year because you're not going to be wanting to be in the middle of something and not have enough module credits to continue building out your flow. So that's it, man. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.